We're not blaming Israel for everything, but if you can't admit that this all started because Israel was going, so Marco Rubio said, we have to go. Miriam Adelson is a huge Israeli sponsor. She gave him $100 million. And name one leader from another country that has visited the White House 7 times in 1 year. And when it comes to Congress, he has 100.
I'm sorry.
He's not doing that. He's not blaming the Jews. He is not.
It's so tiresome to hear this.
Don't play that game. Please,
yeah, it's
please
not a
don't
game.
play
It's
the blame the Jews game.
It's like blaming all Christians for the KKK. He's not blaming Jews.
Unfortunately, when somebody, Fred, all due respect, Fred, but when you say blame the Jews, at no stage has anybody blamed the Jews.
Wow. That was kind of a rare moment on Piers Morgan's show, where you have one unhinged lunatic who wants to smear critics of Israel as anti-Semites, and everyone else jumps down his throat because it's complete and utter BS. So the man engaging in the smear is someone I had never heard of before. He's the vice chairman of the, get a load of this, America First Policy Institute. Fred Fleets is his name. And he did try to pull that, anti-Semitism card on yesterday's episode of the Piers Morgan show, Piers Morgan Uncensored. So you saw what happened next. And so the America First Policy Institute describes itself as a nonprofit, nonpartisan research institute. Fascinating. What are their stated goals? Well, liberty, free enterprise, I think that's their main goal. Deregulation, tax cuts, that kind of stuff. National greatness. How are you going to make the nation great when we're in a tremendous amount of debt and continue to take out more debt in order to fund Israel's wars? Like how? Okay, but let me continue. American military superiority. Look, I have absolutely nothing bad to say about our soldiers, but our military is superior. Let's talk a little bit about how much we spend on defense contractors and how much they inflate the price of the weaponry they provide to our military. Anyway, whatever. By the way, the other thing is, one of the problems for the United States in this war against Iran is that we don't have the manufacturing capacity to manufacture the weapons we would need. Things like interceptors, that we would need to defend ourselves in this war adequately. It's pretty incredible how much we've gutted our own country and put ourselves at a vulnerable position more than anything. But here's more from the America First Policy Institute. They claim that they want foreign policy engagement in the American interest and the primacy of American workers, families, and communities. They're a joke, okay? They don't care for any of these things, especially when you have this Fred guy, the vice chairman of the organization, immediately smearing someone who is critical of Israel dragging us into a disastrous war with Iran as an anti-Semite. And of course, that was Vinny Oshana, who was smeared there. And luckily, everyone else jumped in to defend him. Now, Fleets has previously served as National Security Council Chief of Staff, a CIA analyst, not surprising, and a House Intelligence Committee staff member. When Trump delivered his primetime address on the war against Iran a few weeks ago, Fleets wrote the following. I saw the president in great form, confidently articulating the war's goals and achievements and how he is keeping his promise to the American people to end this conflict in a few weeks so it does not become a quagmire or an endless war. It has become a quagmire, and Trump shed no light. Nothing new was uttered in that ridiculous rambling. Well, it wasn't really rambling. He was super low energy and clearly reading from a script. But there was no new information communicated to the American people other than, repeated lies, how we're totally like crushing in this war. We're not. He also says, most importantly, President Trump stressed that the short-term economic costs of Operation Epic Fury are worth it. Okay, worth it, because dealing with the global threat from Iran's Islamist terrorist regime is an investment for our children and grandchildren's future. Bitch, we're $40 trillion in debt. Okay? All right? Your children and grandchildren are effed. Okay. I mean, it's just, what are you even saying right now? Iran did not have the capacity to attack the United States. And in fact, went to tremendous lengths to prevent a war. In fact, after Iran was struck, its nuclear sites obliterated last summer, as Trump said repeatedly. Did Iran attack the United States? No, they hit up Trump, let him know we got a safe base with our people. So we're going to let you know we're going to strike this base, make sure it's evacuated so no one dies. Does that look like Islamic terror to you? Let's talk about the real terrorists. Let's talk about the country that's bombed their neighbors, illegally annexed land, destabilized multiple countries, including Libya, Syria, got the United States to arm Al-Qaeda in Syria in order to topple Bashar al-Assad's regime, destabilizing that country. They're currently attempting to annex southern Lebanon. Yeah, I'm talking about Israel. You want to talk about terrorists? You want to talk about terrorists. Okay, finally, he says, so instead of kicking the Iran problem down the road to the next president, Trump is dealing with it now. That's the kind of decisive leadership America voted for. No, his coalition, which included people who broke from Democrats to vote for Trump, did so because he swore up and down that he would start no new wars. He said that repeatedly. He presented himself as the peace-loving candidate. They did not vote for war with Iran. So gaslighting the American people, not gonna work. So with all that context in mind, now that you know who this Fred guy is, let's go back to the Piers Morgan video that I showed you at the very beginning of the segment so we can watch it with a more informed mind. Take a look.
We're not blaming Israel for everything, but if you can't admit that this all started because Israel was going so, Marco Rubio said we have to go. Miriam Adelson is a huge Israeli sponsor. She gave him $100 million. And name one leader from another country that has visited the White House 7 times in 1 year. And when it comes to Congress, he has 100.
I'm sorry. He's not doing that. He's not blaming the Jews. He is not.
It's so tiresome to hear this.
Don't play that game. Please,
yeah, it's
please
not
don't
game.
play
It's
the blame the Jews
you
game.
actually, you know what?
It's like blaming all Christians for the KKK. He's not blaming Jews.
Unfortunately, when somebody, Fred, all due respect, Fred, but when you say blame the Jews, at no stage has anybody blamed the Jews.
I can't imagine what it's like to host a show with Adam Sosnick. I mean, just let Vinny cook. You know, I don't agree with Vinny on a whole host of issues, but on Israel, we have far more agreement than I think he is willing to express on PBD's podcast. But he goes on Piers Morgan's show and he tends to crush it on this issue, on Israel and what Israel is perpetrating. And let him cook, okay? Give the man his freedom so he can speak his mind. Because he's absolutely right about the war in Iran. And the manipulative and nefarious behavior of the Israeli government and Mossad in the lead up to the US attacking Iran on February 28th. So what I loved about that clip more than anything is that you have multiple people on the panel and Piers Morgan himself jumping in to defend Vinny because he's not an anti-Semite. He's just speaking facts. And the effort to censor people by smearing them as anti-Semites or intimidating people from speaking out against Israel's atrocities because they know they'll be smeared as anti-Semites, it's got to stop. Address the substance of his argument, because you'll notice every single time they will make these accusations of anti-Semitism, but they'll never say you're wrong, and they'll never explain why they think that the individual they're disagreeing with is wrong. The individual they're smearing as an anti-Semite is wrong. They'll just smear him as an anti-Semite and think that that's all they need to do. No, we're living in a different era. You got to actually address the substance of the argument made. It's that simple.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.